I just loaded up on 11 gallons of E85. It's $1.85 a gallon, so that was $20 to fill up, or $21. Yeah, we're gonna go to KT, gonna have the fuel pump, injectors, and filter installed there. Then they're gonna do the dyno tuning, and then yeah, we'll be out with an E85 Evo 10. An R34 literally just filled up here. I put it on my story. There's an R8 pulling in, and a R35 about to pull in too. Not gonna lie, I'm a little scared right now because my fuel light is on. And I think on Evo 10s, that means you have 2 gallons left. And I've already driven about 20 miles on 2 gallons. So if I'm getting like 16 or so miles a gallon, I have about 12 miles of range left. And the shop is like about 7 miles from me right now. So I'm cutting it close. Made it. Evo heaven. They're finishing up the fueling and the injectors right now. Draining out the rest of the 91. I've literally only had this car for a year and it's been on the dyno 3 different times now. So the new fueling setup, I have ID 1700cc injectors on the engine, and then we do have, let me turn the camera, we do have an inline fuel filter that is set up underneath the blow-off valve. It's kind of hard to see. The actual filter is made by Jegs though. Anyways, and then something I can't show you guys, but the fuel pump is now a Walbro 255. The injectors are definitely future-proof. The Walbro should be good for up to 500 horsepower, which I don't think this car will ever have more than that. So that should be future-proof as well. And yeah, the car is single map E85, so no 91 can ever go back in the car unless I get a retune. Reason for that being, it's not my daily, so I don't need to ever really put 91. Now there's so many 91, or there's so many E85 stations around me that it's not an inconvenience at all. And I also have 2 5-gallon containers that I'll be able to bring to track days and stuff. I'll probably end up getting a 3rd or 4th one. Yeah, that'll handle like long distance stuff if I ever needed to. Yeah, so no more 91, no flex fuel either. As far as power, the car made on 28 pounds, it made 300, exactly 370 wheel. Now, we always run conservative tunes on my car because I do see track time. So from that 370, we brought it down to 350. I don't know the actual PSI. I don't have a boost gauge. I forgot to ask, quite frankly. So yeah, the car right now is at a conservative 350 wheel horsepower exactly. And one of the cool things about E85 right now is that it's $1.85 a gallon. So I literally filled up this entire car for like $21 today. Yes, I do know it burns faster, but who cares? I have more power. The Evo did have its first issue today though, meaning, how do I explain this? So it's a weird situation where the car would hold, so it would hold the peak 28 PSI fine, but more, I don't know if it was the mid-range or the top end, but when the boost is kind of tapering off, my tuner was explaining to me that when it should be at around 25 PSI, the boost level is actually fluctuating a lot. And that can be a number of things, worn out wastegate, cracked manifold, boost leak, worn out blow-off, the stock blow-off valve. I am running the OEM Mitsubishi one still. I am definitely interested in getting the Go Fast Bits one. There is going to be a manifold, the MA Performance Cast manifold, and probably a turbo upgrade in the future. I don't know, maybe probably this year. But yeah, I'm gonna look into it. It's not like the biggest deal right now. The boost or the horsepower and torque curves were still looking really good. Engine looks healthy, so not the biggest of my concerns right now. Yeah, the power number in this car has been gradually going up. The first tune was for 318 horsepower with like half bolt-ons. Then we went to pretty much full bolt-ons, and that made 331. And now we're at exactly 350. All those 3 tunes were all conservative. The car's been running great. I've had a really good experience tuning with KT and even having them installing my stuff. They did all the fueling stuff today really quickly. It's a race now. Who's gonna get a turbo first? The Evo or you?
No, I'll get a new turbo first.
When are you getting yours?
Probably within the month.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I like this.
I'm gonna go order mine right now. All right, to test out the new E85 setup. Obviously had to bring the Evo to my favorite road, and we needed to convince him a little bit more that he needs to buy an Evo for himself.
I'm set.
So yeah, here, best road in the USA, potentially. Alright, now it's your turn to get an Evo, so you can take me down this best road.
I'd be super down.
Like, it just looks so nice here.
It's honestly such a beautiful day too. It's so nice outside. Like down here it's like 70 degrees, up in the valley it's like 90.
Yeah. Did I sanitize them?
I hope so.
No, I licked them.
I thought you were gonna give me Shasta. Where's the Shasta, man?
I didn't go to the store.
Man.
You got a nice parts yard up here.
It is, it's pretty decent. It's a cool pick part.
Wait, who's that? That's yours, isn't it?
Yeah.
Then whose is that?
Which one? That one?
The Kooky.
The Kooky? That's this kid's car.
This kid's
They
car.
want me to do a bunch of stuff on it.
Dang. You should probably... Actually, no, don't sell this, but you should get one of those. 350 wheel horsepower, you could barely handle it.
I feel lightheaded. My legs feel different.
That's what happens when you upgrade from the Honda.
Jesus.
Or at least a non-boosted Honda. Oh, because those are light. That's kind of heavy.
What a feeling.
Yeah, eventually we'll hit that we'll break 400 one day. Probably later this year.
I don't even know what that would feel like. That felt so violent and
That's
just an angry car.
as a passenger, like just that's used to it. It just felt like you were accelerating normally. That's
Screw that. That is not normal. That shouldn't be. I'm not gonna say that. It should be allowed, but I can't imagine driving that
Well, yeah, you can get actual speeding tickets in that car.
without trying. Like, without trying.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, when I first had my 2002 Honda Civic with 100 horsepower, then I got my STI. When I was driving the STI for the first week, I would just find myself at like 90 miles an hour on the freeway, like, and just sitting there normally. Like,
Exactly.
I didn't realize it. So yeah, that's how I was too. My 240, my stock SR20 felt super fast when I first did that swap.
Yeah.
And now it's like my slowest car. I think my Civic's a little faster.
Probably. Dude, first through third on that just feels like.
Yeah, and it shifts like when, I don't know, Evo's like the stock bushings and the diff are pretty soft, so they make that really loud thud every time you do a hard shift, so it just like adds to the experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely something I should probably do, upgrade those bushings. I just realized that you drove my Evo with Crocs on. Can't believe you let those touch my gas pedals.
You allowed it.
It's a disgrace.
You asked me too when I got here.
Yeah, but I forgot you were wearing those.